Good evening, revolutionaries, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up, the Market Watch. Tonight is December 1st. We have a lot to go over, particularly when it comes to MicroStrategy, Jerome Powell, sheep noises per usual, and we'll look at a chart or two. A chart or two. We typically look at one or two charts. But hopefully everyone's having a good night. Doug, how has your day been? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. I had a great Thanksgiving. What about you?
It was nice, dude. It was just like nice, simple, quiet. It was me, my mom, my dad, my brother, his new fiance, and a couple German shepherds, and it was great.
Congrats. Yeah. I had to ask, wait, those are not your dogs. I saw the dogs.
No, they are not my dogs. Sad. The puppy, a 10-month-old German shepherd who was a rescue, is my brother's German shepherd. And he's 10 months. He's like 82 pounds. He'll get up to like 94 or something like that, right around there. And then there's our family dog, which is my mom and dad's dog, but I raised him as a puppy. His name's Maverick, and he is 112 pounds, and he has just turned 3 years old. And he needs to go on a little bit of a diet, but he's still not fat. He's in good shape. He's just a little late. For a German Shepherd, he's lazy.
I love the dogs.
Yeah, they're great. I wish I had more time with both of them because I love training both of them. Having two dogs is a lot of work. I could see having two dogs, especially two big dogs, two big active dogs, like being a lot of work and being a little bit annoying. But at the same time, having two dogs around is so much fun.
I can imagine.
It's so much fun. It's also great, just like everywhere you walk, like you just have this like SWAT team just following you around. You have almost 200 pounds of just like predator just following you around because they think you're their dad. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. You have smoke sensors? You must live with others? Do I have smoke sensors? You mean smoke detectors?
I hope you have smoke detectors.
Are you trying to like set my place on fire? Oh no, fishing crypto. I have smoke detectors. They're there. I
have alerts going off, by the way. I don't know. Of course, right when we jump on here, like the whole day. Don't get alerts.
Oh yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's up 1%, so we'll talk about it. So anyway, let's do the quick little agenda for the conversation today because there's a lot to go over. So per usual, we'll do our charts, right? That's nothing extra. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at gold, silver. Hey, guess what? From last week when we said, hey, gold and silver look pretty good. You, Doug, particularly said silver. I particularly said gold. Guess what both did? Pretty damn well. They both did pretty damn well. And Bitcoin has been a little weak-ish. We'll talk about it all. But the big news of the day has been MicroStrategy over the past couple of days or so. And also, Jerome Powell is speaking tonight. In fact, he's speaking right now. So we'll get a little update in a little bit. But he's just having a conversation with folks down in Stanford. And it's really not something that's going to be too focused around economic policy for the most part. But we'll see. We might get like a little nugget of information. The only reason why people are paying attention to Jerome Powell's speech tonight is to see if something slips out that might make people really excited that quantitative easing is officially here, that the Fed might actually start going out and buying bonds and buying mortgage-backed securities and the likes. But the big news was that the CEO of MicroStrategy, which is now just called Strategy, those of you who don't know, that is Michael Saylor's company. He is the executive chairman of the board. He is the famous Bitcoin bull who has been out there and has used MicroStrategy's stocks to continuously raise money, to continuously buy Bitcoin since about 2020, to the point where they now have about 3% of the total supply, which is worth about $53 billion today. And the stock of MicroStrategy has not been doing well. It looks like a meme coin in terms of it just plummeting into the ground. And so the CEO, whose name is, what's his name? His last name's Lee, but it's not Michael Saylor. He said over the weekend that a certain scenario might be met where MicroStrategy does in fact have to sell Bitcoin, because famously Michael Saylor has said they will never, ever be in a position where they have to sell their Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, well, they might be in a position where they have to sell some Bitcoin.
Never ever.
Doug, have you stayed abreast of this whole situation?
I've got the glimpses of the, every news outlet tweeting the same thing in progression. So it's kind of, that's how I consume information. But yes. And the number is, there's a number too, right? It's like fit in the 50s. Isn't there a level, a price level, I think, where they would sell?
So yes and no. Let's go over it real quick.
Do that. Go for it.
Because there's some reason to not be worried at all, and there's some reason to genuinely be worried. And let's talk about it, because I spent basically the entirety of my day diving through their balance sheet, diving through everything to understand what could actually make MicroStrategy sell Bitcoin.
Look at this guy, data driven, like does his own research, and I'm here for it because I didn't have time for it. So
who'd have thought? And honestly, doing this kind of stuff with help from like a ChatGPT really helps save a lot of time. So yeah, it's not all just me.
But also too, in fairness to you, you also would be asking different questions now, having the time to actually have that information at your fingertips. You're kind of leveling up.
Now just imagine if this was my full-time job. Also, Phong Le is the president and CEO of MicroStrategy. Thank you so much, Bearded. So what did Phong Le say? Phong Le said that, hey, there might be a scenario, like a mathematics scenario, that if this is hit, we would have to actually sell some Bitcoin. So what was that scenario? Basically, it was two things would have to happen. One, and this is a technical term, the MNAV of strategy would have to fall below 1. What is MNAV? MNAV is an equation where it is the valuation of MicroStrategy as a company divided by the amount of Bitcoin that they have minus their obligations and debts. If it's less than 1, they're in a dangerous position. In other words, if the valuation of their debts and their Bitcoin is worth more than the company of MicroStrategy, they are in a dangerous situation. That has currently already been fulfilled. That equation is already below 1. It's at 0.87. So they have more Bitcoin. Their Bitcoin that they have in their balance sheet is worth more than the company. Okay, it's a dangerous situation to be in. Next, if MicroStrategy cannot raise capital, if they cannot go out and grab new money, get money from people, then those two situations combined puts them in a scenario where they have only one liquid asset to sell in order to generate funds, and that would be Bitcoin. But that would be a last resort. Okay, so that was what Phong Le said over the weekend, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, MicroStrategy is going to sell their Bitcoin." Not necessarily. I started kind of taking a look into things, and I was like, all right, well, what expenses would they have that they would need money to basically cover, right? If they can't raise that money, they'd have to sell Bitcoin to do that. They do have a software business. That software business pulls in about $500 million a year, but they have ridiculously large expenses due to debt and dividend payments and a number of other things, right? Far more than that software revenue, because they are technically a software company, technically. And so these payments are payments on debt called convertible notes. And so I took a look into that. They did have convertible notes that were due to be paid out in 2026 and 2027, but they paid them out ahead of schedule. So those are clear. The next convertible note isn't going to be due until 2028. That's a pretty long runway for the stock to recover and for Bitcoin to recover. And then you have a payment in 2029, in 2030, in 2031, in 2032. And these are to the tunes of multiple billions of dollars, but it's a long ways out. Okay. So take the issue of convertible notes and go, cool, we have like a 2.5 year runway there. So what's the next big expense? The next big expense are dividend payments. And MicroStrategy just came out today and said, hey, we raised money by issuing out stock again to put $1.4 billion to the side specifically for dividend payments. That covers 1 year of dividend payouts. And we have a plan to raise a little bit more money to cover that for 2 years. Okay, so we have a 2-year runway again before they have a need to do, to get money to potentially sell Bitcoin. Okay, cool. So the issue of convertible notes, gone for 2 years. The issue of dividend payments, gone for 2 years. The next big expense, and this is the third and final one, is basically wages and paying for offices and other ongoing fees. Their annual expenses run between $500 million to, like 500 million to like $800 million. So $500 million to $800 million. And they have $1.2 billion on hand in terms of cash. So that's about 1.5 years of runway. So MicroStrategy, as soon as they get to a point where they can no longer raise capital, they have 1.5 years to 2 years or so before they would ever have to sell any Bitcoin because they have that much cash on hand. Now, they would probably sell a little bit sooner because they'd probably sell a little bit of Bitcoin before their cash on hand got to 0. But still, let's give it 3/4 of a year to 1.25 years before they would ever be in a position to need to sell Bitcoin. And they are still able to raise capital today. So that timer hasn't started yet.
So that timing is interesting. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No. That's a good place to pause, because now that I have defended the position of MicroStrategy and gotten rid of the FUD, I do want to talk about the thing that could actually totally fuck this whole thing up.
My head's kind of going there, and I think that's it's the go. You go first. I have questions after. Let's go.
Okay. So now that we have gotten through all of the FUD that you've seen on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or Twitter in particular is ablaze with talking about MicroStrategy as a Ponzi scheme, right? And I'm not going to say it isn't. Raise money to buy speculative asset, to raise more money to buy speculative asset, to, go to your investors to raise more money to pay out other investors. That's literally a Ponzi scheme. However, this one's kind of fine. But anyway, so the real big problem that could really blow this whole thing up way faster than this 1.5 to 2.5 year timeline I just gave you after breaking down the math is MSCI. Morgan Stanley's, I forget what the C stands for, but it's their index. Morgan Stanley has an index, and they price out index funds, okay? They're like the biggest one who does it. And they hold a vote on January 15th of whether or not they should or should not include companies that have more than 50% of their total company's valuation held in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency assets to be excluded from the Morgan Stanley Index Fund, which, if that were to happen, would force $2.8 billion worth of MicroStrategy stock to be sold immediately.
Question: How many companies are in that index that have more than 50% crypto today? Is there more than one? I don't
know.
Is there more than one? Like, it has to be a couple, right? I mean,
there has to be a couple, because you have these DATs, these
right. Okay, all right.
These treasury companies.
Okay, so to your point, that's not important. There's a chance.
Yeah, but the thing is like, there's no other big company, right? MicroStrategy got super big at the top of their stock valuation, right? There's no other super big company out there that would really be causing like a shakeup in global markets if they were to be removed from Morgan Stanley's index reading. And so the thing is that we are not going to get a lot of information about what's going to happen on this vote, because once this vote goes through on January 15th, it's my understanding, and this could be incorrect, but it's my understanding that like right then, MicroStrategy's stock is out of the Morgan Stanley index funds. And that means almost $3 billion of MicroStrategy stock would be forced to sell like that. And then the stock slams down, because the first thing we talked about, this MNAV thing, if it's below 1, that MNAV is already below 1, and it goes down lower if strategy stock falls further and if Bitcoin falls further. And where does someone get the option to vote on this? Fishing Crypto, that is a great question. I do not know who gets to vote on that, but I can ask and find out. And in the meantime, Doug, if you could provide some commentary to fill the space, I'm
writing a post-it note that I'm going to put somewhere that I'm not going to remember what it means. I just wrote January 14th. So, even though I know it's the 15th, so I'm putting it the day before to remember to be aware of this thing, which I'm sure at that point will remind me, or someone on the beautiful place that is crypto Twitter, I'll be reminded that is coming.
The interesting thing will be the charts will probably remind you, because you're probably gonna be like, hey, I'm seeing some weakness in the chart right now, because like some smart people are gonna be selling most likely.
Because like, so do you how big is the board? I mean, what's it probably?
Oh, so the MSCI is a private for-profit company. So who votes in this? Global Index Policy Committee votes in it, plus some regional index committees, methodology teams, risk and governance groups. So it's just a committee within Morgan Stanley, which sounds kind of like we're totally hosed.
So it's almost like trying to figure out like what is the motivation on either side of the equation, like to say what's the pros and cons of basically being someone and voting in that capacity. And I think kind of as you're alluding to, yeah, we need to be aware of this going into this like the first week of January. Yeah,
it's That one's gonna be a doozy. January's gonna be a doozy because I mean, like, it's already gonna be a bit of a doozy because we have the Bank of Japan. I'm gonna say 99% chance, in my personal opinion. Let's go with it. I'll say 95. 95 sounds a little bit more realistic. Chance of them hiking rates on December 18th to 19th, and that probably really kind of screwing up the Santa Claus rally that we might have, if in fact we do have one. Because that happens, markets go down. And then if Morgan Stanley's vote on the 15th happens, and then you have MicroStrategy sell, and even if they have to sell just a tiny bit of Bitcoin,
it doesn't matter.
That would be such a big stink in the crypto space.
It could be one.
Boom.
It could be
one single Bitcoin.
One, it's like they're testing.
They're
testing it. They're testing. It's coming. They're testing
it.
You know? So.
But if we get through January 15th and that vote goes through and Morgan Stanley, for whatever reason, says, hey, you know what, we're fine with keeping companies that have more than 50% of Bitcoin or as compared to their company valuation on their balance sheet. We'll keep them in the index. But
that seems a little, the fact that it's a committee. I mean, it's not like it was planned to have to come to make this decision. It just kind of seems like whatever's prompting the decision, but it's not a great decision to have to make in general.
Mm-hmm. So Bearded always does a great job of providing some analytical research here on YouTube for us. So the MSCI board of directors currently consists of 11 members. I wonder who those members are.
Do we know who they are? Are they the same members? They've been there for a long time.
Bearded, can you see who those members are and let us know? I feel like I'm like Joe Rogan and be like,
what company?
Jamie, Jamie, look that up. But yeah, so that's the situation we find ourselves in with MicroStrategy. Those are the facts. A lot of FUD is out there. It's like a lot of people are very concerned, and genuinely you should be, but they're concerned over the absolute wrong things. Because MicroStrategy is fine for about a year and a half or so, unless this happens on January 15th, in which case they're kind of hosed pretty quick.
And if it doesn't happen, there's still another window that comes later that has less probability, let's say, possibly of. Well, let's get past the 15th. Let's get past that, then we'll talk about that piece. That's
yeah.
Later.
Meanwhile, Jamie Dimon's having a great time, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he's just like shorting the shit out of strategy. You know, he's in a very public short on strategy and has been for a while.
Is he doing it because he hates the name change like I do?
Right? No, what if that was it? Just like, I don't like the name change. Anyway, here are the members of that committee. Oh. Thank you, Bearded. Henry A. Fernandez, chairman and CEO of MSCI. Bear Pettit, who's president of MSCI, retiring early 2026. Thank you, Bearded. Michelle Seitz, independent director, chair of nominating and governance committee. So a number of people, not any big names I particularly recognize, but maybe they are.
If I was one to want to go research this, if I had time, what I would do, I would look at previous votes this committee has made and what the types of votes were. And looking back, let's assume the committee has not changed for the most part, maybe like plus or 3 members, like first like a core group of 8 who've always been there, like rolling last 2 years, is to look at the historic votes that have had come to fruition based on a category, and then look for the disposition of each, and look for if you could simulate what this would be, what that would look like. That's what I would do if I had time. And
I will clear up, because a chill well, I'll see your comment here, but like Bitcoin could drop 90% and it still wouldn't liquidate them. Correct. MicroStrategy cannot be liquidated. However, their company's stock can get so beat up, they will in fact have to find some ways to generate capital. And if their stock gets so beat up to the point that no one wants to give them money when they try to raise it, well, there's only one thing that they have on their balance sheet. That would be
no bueno.
That would be
no
Bitcoin.
Bueno for all of us.
That'd be Bitcoin. So anyway, if any of you are just tuning in, because I know a few of you are, if you want to get the facts about the MicroStrategy situation, you'll have to watch this on YouTube and tune in for the first 15 minutes or so for this, because it is time to change gears a little bit. We do have, I know, Jerome Powell speaking in a little bit, but we'll do an update at the end to try to get all the juicy bits of information. But let's pull up some charts here and, well, get charting, I suppose. So pulling up Bitcoin here, I'm going to pull us up on the daily time frame. Just going to start off with a nice clean chart for the most part. Shake head. Oh, the birds are giving me kisses. That's great. For those of you who aren't seeing this on TikTok, I'm sorry. There are adorable little gifts coming in. Appreciate it, everybody. So we have here is Since, let's see, October 6th, how far is Bitcoin down? Let's just do. Bitcoin is currently down 31.46%, sitting at $86,697. We had a fall as far as 36.1% since October 6th, when the markets first started sliding. Now, currently, in the daily candle that just printed, we do have a higher low, sitting at a bottom of today at $83,751. Personally, I'm still of the opinion, I think we go up to about like $98,000 or so. That's personally what I see happening. That could happen between now and December 10th, or maybe even happen a little bit after December 10th, when Jerome Powell and the Fed have their meeting and maybe announce the official end of quantitative tightening. Maybe, this is speculative, although they've been hinting at it. And they talk about actually adding to their balance sheet. That would be the key word you want to hear from Jerome Powell. We plan on adding to our balance sheet and cutting rates. So they'd be going out and buying bonds or mortgage-backed securities. It's the number one way the Fed can possibly influence the markets, and maybe you see a pump upwards. That's what I'm currently expecting. However, our Moxie indicator is still very bearish. Definitely expect overall bearish things still to happen in this market, is what that is screaming to us. If you take a look at short-term timeframes, because again, I'm just looking for a short-term pump, we are oversold on the 8-hour charts, stochastic RSI. We're oversold on the 4-hour charts. We have positive momentum on the Moxie. But again, if we pull out to weekly charts here, we are below the 55-week exponential moving average. We are getting increasingly bearish momentum on the weekly time frame. And despite us being in oversold territory on the weekly chart stochastic RSI, we are not in totally oversold territory. So there's lower to go, is what that's saying, potentially. And I am still personally looking at like 66.7 thousand. Because if you break a key exponential moving average, typically you fall to the next one. General good rule of thumb. And we talked about possible things that could start causing that. If you do have a little move, upwards, because people get excited about what Jerome Powell and the Fed say, you can have a move down immediately because of what the Bank of Japan says on the 18th and the 19th. And then who knows what happens with, MicroStrategy stuff coming out on January 15th.
So let me ask you a question on that. Hold your thought. So I'm the same thought of like a low 70s, 70 number at least to start. But do you believe, and let's say 60, 70, whatever it is. Oh my gosh, 6, 7. My God, I can't freaking escape it.
Take it away.
Would you say that happens before this higher retest of the 98s? Like, can Bitcoin reach that level without having one more kind of, let's call it demand grab, liquidity grab from a pullback? Like, so 70 before 98 or 98 before 70?
I would say 98 before 70 as opposed to 70 before 98, just because of two things. One, this one's a little wishy-washy, but just like in my experience, like straight down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in this case, like 10, 11, 12, like weekly candles in a row, just isn't something that typically happens, right? Usually you have a little bit more of an extreme bounce, particularly when you break a key exponential moving average. You typically have one more move back upwards. I think I just said the same thing. Anyway, to go back and reconfirm all of that as resistance. And we haven't gotten a reconfirmation of resistance to then slam us back down. Kind of like a volleyball serve upwards to somebody, just spike it in everybody's faces. That's typically how things go. But
you mean like November 2022 back there to the left, like on the far left-hand side of your screen? Like that?
November 2022. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what I'm thinking, where you had all this huge slam down. You had us print a higher low, which is exactly the same setup as they have right now. And then you have everyone being like, we're so back. And then you get that handball serve upwards to then spike us down in the face to send us into the absolute pits of despair for several months. Which is honestly the same kind of thing I'm expecting. Here it is. Here's your higher low. Then you get a move upwards. Everyone says we're back. And then you get slammed right in the face.
I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. It's so comical that it seems like it's going to basically.
It's just going to be faster.
It's crazy. I mean,
I think it's going to do the exact same thing. It's just going to be faster, is what I think. But in the meantime, I think Binance allows the market to run up to $98,000 because they casually make about $1 billion Well, they definitely $1 billion just right in this patch, not including this patch here as well. But there'll be well over $1 billion in liquidations of short positions. Just go up there, grab that money, then allow the market to slam down with Bank of Japan news is what I personally think. Now, what could avoid that bearish scenario is you have the central bank of the United States come out on December 10th and say, hey, we're cutting rates, and guess what? We're going to start adding to our balance sheet again. And everyone goes, oh, cool, that's awesome. And you have that pump that we're talking about. And then the Bank of Japan has their decision on December 18th and 19th. They go, hey, we're actually not going to hike rates, which, by the way, the bonds market in Japan is screaming that they are hiking rates. So the bonds market's rates went up. The 30-year is at the highest it's ever been. The 20-year is at the highest it's been at since 1998. And the 10-year is at the highest it's been at since 2008. All of that means, without explaining all of the mumbo jumbo, is that the bonds market is screaming that the Bank of Japan is going to hike rates. Okay. So I would say there's like a 1% chance that on December 18th and 19th, the Bank of Japan does not hike rates. But if that doesn't happen, then the whole market goes, oh my God, the Japanese carry trade, it's not unwinding yet. We still have easy, cheap access to liquidity. Woohoo! And then the market keeps pumping. And then on January 15th, you'd have to have Morgan Stanley not decide to remove all companies that have more than 50% of their company's valuation held up in Bitcoin on their balance sheet out of their indexes, forcing MicroStrategy stock to plummet and crater, forcing them to sell some Bitcoin at some point very soon. Not immediately, but some point soon.
It's so fun that all of this stuff is connected.
Yeah. So that all of those things would have to happen. We would have to avoid all of those bearish events. And I think you get the first one. I think Jerome Powell comes out and says, hey, we're cutting rates. And hey, we got to talk about adding to our balance sheet and stuff. Because Jerome Powell knows the Bank of Japan is hiking rates. And that the Jerome Powell and the Fed have to become a source of cheaper money now that the Japanese yen is going to become more expensive to borrow. Doug, what are you clicking and clacking on?
Dude, I mapped the British pound perfectly back in April 2025. Like, no one cares. I don't care. I wish I cared because it would have been a perfect trade. I'm looking quickly at charts while you're describing that because I'm like looking at the Japanese yield. I'm looking at the U.S. yields, and I'm just because I haven't looked at charts today, and I'm just like, wow. There's a lot going on, and a lot of what's the right word for it? I'm looking at imbalances, but just odd behavior, and odd behavior is not great for strong markets.
Yep. Really great question because it requires a educational answer. It's from Mr. Robots Declarish over on TikTok. What if we being the United States, become the super cheap place to borrow money from? Do we essentially like take that market over? The United States cannot possibly fulfill the same role that Japan has over the past 20 years because Japan's rates for the majority of that time has been zero. It has been zero. You've been able to get essentially free money, right? The United States cannot have interest rates be basically like below 1%. Maybe it's a little bit less. That's just not going to happen. Because if that happens, then inflation becomes a huge problem again. Because if it's exactly the same as Japan, let's just say if the United States had 0% interest rates like Japan did, then everyone would be borrowing infinite amounts of money. And then that problem with inflation we've been fighting for 3 years, the reason why I just paid $74 for 2 large pizzas in Maine. I was in Maine. I live in Boston. I don't pay that much for a pizza in Boston. This place is just robbing people blind, but apparently they can get away with it because of inflation. Anyway, regardless, that problem with inflation becomes way worse. The United States cannot possibly replace the Bank of Japan. We can't. So this age of free money, even if we become as cheap as we really can without really skirting that inflation problem, it'll be nothing as compared to what it had been over the past 20 years. So you're going to see global liquidity within financial markets and banking markets and the like become way less than it was like at the time of COVID.
Fun fact, we watched Home Alone last night. We were putting up the Lego Home Alone set, which, by the way, I think it's retired now, but it's one of the best Legos I've ever bought. 10 pizzas then was $122.50. So it's like $12 a pop. So, you know, you're 70. What'd you say? 70?
It was $74
for two.
One was a meat lover's pie, so that one's always more expensive. One
right,
was
so
pepperoni and green peppers.
Pull out all toppings. What are we talking? Like $60?
Pull all toppings.
Just like plain, $30 a pie. Like that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. Is it like
it's
oversized? You like oversized?
It was a large pizza. Also, not even good. I know, right? Is it bullshit?
Pizza snob, so that would really disappoint me. Anyway.
MILF Shake 28. Thank you. Hell no, they say on TikTok. Also, top tier name. Amazing. Doug, do you want to pull up gold and silver?
Sure.
Because last week, if you guys weren't tuning in, we were talking about how gold and silver were looking like they were about to break out. And they did. Because, well, everyone's getting kind of worried about this whole global liquidity situation. So people are running to flights of safety.
I could do this here, I think, actually, if you want, Will. Make it easier for you. I think I could do it.
Look at that.
Do it. Yeah. So the gold is, wow. Yeah, so last week, what was that here? The 24th, right? That's what it was when we first had our last show.
Let's see. It was, I'm putting my calendar. It was the 24th.
So we were, let's do this right there. A little darker so we can all see it.
Bro bought 2 pizzas 4 days ago for 14 euros. Dude, the other crazy thing is about coming back from Japan to the United States. I'm now just doing the math of like how much food I could get for every meal I buy in Boston. And I'm just like, I need to stop doing this math. I'm just getting sad.
Dude,
I'd be able to get I was able to get cocktails for like $1.24.
Oh, it's great.
It was amazing. Water bottles cost 68 cents.
That makes sense. These things
makes sense. You should have to. A bottle of water should cost less than $1.
Agreed.
It's ridiculous.
So we spoke here like, hey, we're bullish on gold and silver, and this was the move from there. Now we're at an interesting spot, right? We're kind of at this right where, let's make this gray here, right where I would say the bullish or everything broke, right? That was here. That's when everyone's like, up, the gold runs over, overcrowded trade.
That's when everyone had those lines wrapped around like pawn stars to get gold. Yeah,
that's good. And then kind of went, pull back sideways, big move here, and this was the first rejection. So now this move up though is interesting because we've now taken out these highs. So I'd be very curious to see where gold goes. And like to me at this point, I have, sure you can make this argument. But at the same time, there's no reason why you shouldn't consider something like this. Stays up here or flips this level and starts trading back above, let's call this 42.60 roughly. But like that's kind of the level where if it starts moving up there and closing some higher time frame candles, 12-hour daily candles, then could expect a run at the all-time highs again. But right now it looks really strong. So I can't deny that. Silver, sheesh.
Oh my God, you were so right about silver.
And I don't know what I had. Let's do this. What was I looking at that? I remember caution not available. Why did you? Oh, sorry. Please hold. Here we go. Let's see the replay here. Where's the replay? Why does it do that, man? All right. Replay. Yeah. What's it keep doing? It keeps like locking me out here. Whatever. I can't do the replay. It's just not working. It's just not working. Oh, it's playing.
Nope, I got it.
What are we
doing? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Hang on.
You just keep doing all that because I'm losing it here.
Nope. That's the intro. Nope, that's ding.
Thanks for making me not feel that bad.
Come for him.
What was that? What was that, dude?
Come for him.
Oh my.
I was trying to find the dolphin noise. I don't remember what part of my soundboard I put it on.
Wow. Oh, so you're almost going blind. Oh, if you didn't label them. Okay.
Mr. Robot Steckler is right. Comfort him is what that says.
Oh my goodness. Holy goodness. So here's the silver move from when we last. Wow. I should have literally bought this.
Is this soundboard bullish or bearish for crypto? I'm confused.
So almost now with gold and silver don't look the exact same, but gold if you were to try, is right here. Right. So gold, not saying that silver is a leading indicator for where gold's going to go. I'm just saying that silver is super, super strong. And at this point has made fresh highs. And, any silver above $54, assume extremely bullish. And honestly, if we do get some type of retest here like that, which I don't even know if we'll get, this to me is not financial advice, would be a time to build a position if you're not already. But this thing could also just continue to send. I mean, it's a really, really nice market.
Yeah, if we feel bad buying a super hot green candle like that, but if it pulled back, that'd be a beautiful thing.
Agreed. All right,
can you pull up MicroStrategy stock? MSTR. Oh man. Oh man. Hey, that's a bullish candle print. Hey, look at that bullish candle print on the what time frame are you on?
Daily chart.
Hey, that's a we're about to see a rebound in MicroStrategy stock.
I wrote this note. Needs to get back above here ASAP at 305.
Did not.
And by the way, this I actually drew this back in early 2025, but it's important to keep your squiggles, friends. Keep the squiggles. So this looks absolutely horrible, but maybe there's some life here to your point, Will. Oh, I hate stock charts, man. The gaps are so...
No, the gaps are so good.
They are good, but it's just not clean.
I know, that's why it has to fill it.
Yeah, you're right.
It just gives you a little bit more data.
Something like that, maybe. But this is nice. I mean, for the moment, I got to think some bullishness to this without a doubt. RSI's, what we got down here? This we're definitely oversold. But you zoom out though, this looks horrible. To your point, this looks like a meme.
Yeah, but it looks like it's about to bounce here. I mean, look at that consolidation zone it's on. You're actually going to get a solid bounce here in strategy stock, unless of course the Bank of Japan hikes rates. In which case, that's probably going to be a short-lived bounce. You're right. This is the level. I mean, at that point, that's the level.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, it kind of looks like. Oh my god, it looks like Avalanche's old chart. No, pull up Avalanche. That looks like Avalanche's chart, when it hit 2020, 2022 high. Yeah, MicroStrategy's Avalanche.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, hopefully
it doesn't do that. We don't want that. We don't want that.
No, you don't want that. No one wants that.
All right, what's next? What are we looking at?
Anything else to take a look at before we take some audience suggestions?
Some things that I've been keeping my eye on. I think the Russell, but one thing I chatted a minute ago, and I'm just because I have yet to really build a bag of Pengu.
Dude, you're getting yeah.
I'm sorry. I know there's but I just saw this. For me, I'm a buyer here. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I put out a tweet a couple days ago. I was like, fuck it, I'll start buying once a week here.
I mean, and I'm against DC. I'm not against DCA, but stuff it's just this to me makes a lot of sense. Just not have to pay attention. I like to your point, the ongoing approach where it's just hey, I'm going to put in $10 a week in Pengu for the rest the next 5 months, whatever it may be. That is, I think this is the time to do that based on where it is, because again, the brand isn't going anywhere. I still see it all over TikTok. I see
still
it.
The fastest growing IP in the world.
So it's just in my mind, this is a gift. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. And I'm disappointed, but at the same time, I'm disappointed at everything in crypto. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I have put no new lines on my chart, and I'm just quickly going to show my Pengu chart because it shows my ideal buy zone, even though I started buying a little bit ahead of it. This is the weekly chart for it. And let me just clean this up a little tiny itsy bitsy bit. And it is, if I look at this is what? Just below 0.008, so 0.0076 down to 0.0037. That's my ideal dollar cost average range into, but I bought a little bit last week. I'll buy a little bit more this week. I'll buy a bit the next week. I'll buy a bit the week after that. I'll buy a bit a week after that. And then, as I get some big paydays, I'll put a good chunk into Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum. And then I'll take a little bit and I'll put it into Pengu too, because I just think it's going to be one of those coins where once the market gets hot again, meme coins will pop back because people are addicted to it. Well, I can't say certain things here because I'll get the live prohibited, but people are addicted to meme coins. And when a meme coin starts doing well, they do certainly quite well. And I think Pengu will be one of the ones that does that. So that's me personally, not financial advice, of course, just what I'm doing. You guys heard what I do with my money. I get blacked out and I buy katanas.
Next time you gotta buy like a Sai. I never liked the Sais. Like I was always against the RAF. I'm like, yeah, they're boring. But I'm like, no, Sais I like them. I appreciate it.
You want to get a scythe?
Is that what they call it?
Like a the Grim Reaper scythe, like
no,
the
like
farming
like
tool?
Raphael from Ninja Turtles, like that Sai. Like
oh yes, okay, yes.
I'm like, that's the least weapon. Like I was a Donatello guy. I'm like, at the end of that point, then you go Leo, and then you get the dump trucks. Then always Raph.
I was always a Leonardo fan because I was like, swords are cool, but like I was like, Michelangelo makes me laugh the most, and then I was like, Raphael's the bad boy though. I want to be bad. I want to be tough. And then at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I kind of like Donatello. Donatello. You know what? Throughout my life, I have been a fan of each Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
So you're missing some weapons, so work on that.
Yeah, I just have an axe, knives, a warhammer, and those katanas easily in reach. We'll take some suggestions though if people want to take a look. Actually, JR021104 on TikTok. I have not looked at the ETH chart in forever, so let's actually look at that together for the first time. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is not worth looking at all. You're not going to get any good information out of the Bitcoin dominance chart right now. All right, Ethereum. Let's see. I haven't looked at this chart in a minute or so. Oh, interesting. Ethereum 2 weeks ago hit the 200-week exponential moving average. That screams to me that Ethereum wants to go back up to the 55-week exponential moving average and test it. It sits at about $3,257. That would, if it were to happen, from current price, would be an upwards move of about 16%. Now let's pull up our indicators here. Tartar sauce. We're very oversold in the weekly chart stochastic RSI. That is a good sign for a potential bounce here. Oversold, hit the 200-week EMA. We should expect a bounce, but maybe the last week's bounce was it. We'll see. Because we are about to get a short signal on Ethereum's chart, which is brutal. We are not oversold in the weekly chart's RSI, but that rarely ever happens. When it does, you are in fact at the bottom of a bear market. So we don't have that yet. Let's pull up the monthly chart for Ethereum. Maybe we won't get that bounce after all. Because what we see here is we see a break of the 21-month exponential moving average. That screams to us that falling to the next key exponential moving average is typically what happens next. That is sitting at $2,444. That is the 55-month exponential moving average. We are not oversold on the monthly chart stochastic RSI. And our momentum on the monthly time frame is bearish. Although the Moxie indicator I've noticed on the monthly time frames, not the most accurate thing in the world. So honestly, we're gonna take that and just kind of push it to the side. But overall, I see Ethereum dropping here actually.
So in that case, though, so it's like, so would you, with that, do you change your thesis at all with Bitcoin going to 98 before down? Because I'm not saying like
it weakens
obviously
it.
Bitcoin's king, right? Bitcoin's king, right? So your thesis
it weakens it for sure, but when I look at the weekly chart, I still see a possibility here for Ethereum to go up and want to retest $3,217. Let's just see. What would that be? Would it hit resistance?
Basically 97, 98 for Bitcoin, roughly.
That would basically be on the monthly time frame, us going up and touching the 12-month exponential moving average, and then would have to turn around. But let's see, that would have to happen in this month's candle, like go up, get slammed down. I don't know if that happens. If we do get a move upwards in Bitcoin, and I've been noticing this, I mean, like, even if I just, looking at Pengu's chart, like Pengu looks like it just wants to keep sliding until it hits the bottom of its bottom bear market, right? That's just kind of what it looks like it wants to do. And that's what Ethereum looks like it wants to do. Let's see, I just happen to have Aerodrome's chart up here. Aerodrome looks like it wants to keep sliding also. In fact, the breakout target of this pattern that I had is, way further down at like 14 cents is the breakout target of this bearish pattern Aerodrome specifically broke out of. And so I think that if you have Bitcoin, in fact, go up to like 98K and then go down, I bet it's almost a Bitcoin exclusive rally. And that would also make sense. I mean, like, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. But, you know, that would make sense because Bitcoin would go upwards. And like, who the hell's left to buy altcoins?
Yeah.
Who's left to buy altcoins? No one is. So like Bitcoin goes upwards, altcoins keep bleeding and remaining the same. And then Bitcoin turns around and guess what goes down further? Altcoins. And that's typically what happens in like a bear market.
That's what, for me, everything you're saying, I agree with. It's just, I think the sell-off that happened yesterday or on Sunday, it was pretty nasty. I almost feel like these lower levels are going to be just tested sooner than later, of like a nasty wick down, and then will help us get that move up to 98 and the retest of ETH, which you just said on 3,200, wherever that roughly was. Just because, like, why not at this point where it's sitting? Because otherwise, I just can't see it getting that demand. Now, I mean, it is the level where you'd want it to bounce here, but it was just, even Sol got crushed pretty bad.
Yeah, let's see. And I actually hadn't looked at Solana's ETFs recently because its ETFs were like really crushing it. It was like day after day after day.
Positive inflows for like weeks, right?
Yeah, but finally on November 26th, we had negative outflows of $8.2 million. What was this from? This was from 21 shares. So 21 shares converted, and people are outflowing now. So with the introduction of 21 shares, you are now seeing an outflowing of Solana. 2 of the past 3 days have been outflows now for Sol. So let's see. I haven't looked at Solana's chart in a little bit either. So let's look at Solana next. And Solana is very oversold in the weekly chart, stochastic RSI. Momentum is bearish. It is on the 200-week exponential moving average, though. So this would be, if it were to bounce, it would be here, but it's time. But the issue, though, once again, is that I pull this up, you go, God! You know, I pull this chart up and, you know, general rule of thumb, if you break a key exponential moving average, you fall to the next one. And we clearly broke the 21-month exponential moving average, and the 55 is currently sitting at $107. So the monthly charts, stochastic RSI for Solana, it is oversold, but it is nowhere near totally oversold. And so you should see Solana at about $106.80. So, you know, if we got to move upwards in Bitcoin, it would be Solana up to about 156 before turning back around and falling to that like 105K area. And that's pretty much exactly where the 200-week simple moving average is also sitting. So that's going to be a pretty strong area of support for Solana. But I mean, I can't look at this and not think, you know, bearishly.
We will be able to buy Solana below $100 again without.
Yeah, you will be able to buy Solana below $100. It's going to happen.
Yep. Which is, hey, I'm no complaints here. I'm like, Brent, let's just go down to the 40s. Give me 40s, 40 to $50.
Yeah. Both sides are crooks, says a comment that I think is something worth talking about, which is Trump won't let crypto fall that far. I think it's dangerous to try to be like, well, like, because Trump is in crypto and like so much of his platform was tied to crypto, or at least a decent amount of it, like a part of it, right, was tied to crypto, like he won't let it fall. I wouldn't put too much credence into that. Like, yeah, like he's already made his hundreds of millions.
I think they've lost the plot already there. They've already done, all of the crime has been done in regard of the cohorts.
Well, the other thing too is like Trump can't do anything about the Bank of Japan.
Yeah.
He can't do anything about the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan is bigger than Trump. It's way bigger than Trump. Trump is not bigger than the means of global liquidity for the past 20 years. He's not. But when I look at Solana too, it's like I see clear support here. Like $95 is really important. But the thing that I hate seeing on this chart is like, look at all this just like empty space.
Yep.
Look at all this empty space that's like below $96. Oh my God, it's brutal.
The move up was so nice that was the election, right? Yeah, that was just a nice move. And I remember when that happened where it's like, please just give us give us some pullback. I want to retest. It just never got it. And like that will be filled at some point. Like it just makes sense to do that. So, you know, speaking of Trump though, actually real quick, I'm going to pull up WLFI. Let me just do this real quick. So So
I saw someone in the comment section say it was holding nicely or something.
So the other day I tweeted about it because I was like, oh, I had an alert on, and let me switch. Here we go. Hold on. I had an alert on, which I didn't realize, which was for this level here. I think it was where this popped up. Now, as we're looking at this does look like
you do not have it on the big screen.
Oh, I don't. My bad. Thank you for. There we go. Now we're here. So this move up, even this, what was this? This was the one. So November 10th, this big move, this pullback, and this bounce is nice too. This though, we are right now. And the reason this is important to me is like this is kind of an indicator of like activity again, of doesn't mean positive activity or negative activity, but activity to say that crypto may be making a move, because this is just have been watching almost like a leading indicator of stuff, of one thing happening, and using previously the administration's tokens, the memes, as a proxy for that, but they're basically dead. This one has been kind of telling. This to me, if we lose down below 14 cents, those things probably get cooked. But I thought it was stronger than it was. The sell-off is not fantastical. Hold on here. No, you know what? This is holding right. If this holds like 13.5, we can get a level up here, like up here, break us a little downtrend here. Where's this?
I just always hate like fairly parallel channels like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just feel like they always break bearishly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is where's my?
They almost always break bearishly.
Break that downtrend, then I would consider possibly like a long up here. Like, but as of right now, this looks like this again. Nasty sell-off yesterday. That.
Yeah, that's what I would expect personally.
So,
can you taking some suggestions from the audience? We have Magic here who's been patiently waiting. Can we take a look at CRV and Aave? I'd be interested to see Aave first. Sorry to rug you.
No, it's all good.
Oh, that's CRV being typed in.
Oh, this was
the monthly chart of
great
Aave.
Market. This was such a great market.
God, we almost had some really good altcoin runs in a few coins. We almost had some good runs.
The bull run was supposed to happen here. I'm sorry.
It was supposed to happen right there.
This was it. This was that. This did not happen. This sucks. I mean, hey, like I don't want to.
Hey, we had some good trades.
We had some.
There were some good ones. We had some fun.
I mean, it'll come. It'll you know.
It'll come back.
Get it.
But honestly, like this is the time where people always say like the bear market's where you make money. It really, honestly, well and truly is.
It's also a good time to build things. Good time. Bear market's a good time to learn to build things, and this just sucks. I mean, and also too, until we get like, it'll be clear. Like, see these candles over here. See this reversal. This here, like these thick green candles. Like this is a nice confirmation of a reverse. Like right now, we got one meh green candle in there. It looks all right.
Fishing Crypto, you've been here since we started. We'll take a look at Banker Coin. I have no idea what it is, but we'll take a look at it.
Banker? What are we doing next? So we did.
We did. Wait. Are we analyze? Let's analyze Aave. We pulled it up and went. We're so sad the altcoin rally is not here. But like, what do you
needs
see?
To get back above 185 bucks. Until then, like I can't. I like just kind of here, kind of level for me, like that. Or are we gonna move down here? Like it's just in a weird spot.
Okay. How about CRV?
Ooh, this was not a nice.
No, that's a bad rejection from
not good.
185. I mean, just
really
like with everything else, it looks like all altcoins are going lower, even if Bitcoin has a rally. Correct.
That is that because this is the clearest. This downtrend. Respect the downtrend. This is the easiest short right here. If I was paying attention, but I wasn't. CRV, the curve. Curve doesn't look that bad. Ooh, look at this. Oh. Look at that.
Oh, God.
Hey, this was good. This was spot on until here.
I didn't know you called the October 10th liquidation event.
Yeah, I did that. Multiple. And,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't. By the way, I didn't think it was going to be this. I just kind of had that feeling of like something's not right.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Yeah. But Aave, or CRV, I'm gonna close this out here. Same thing. Actually, it's a little sadder. Let me zoom out.
I see lower lows and lower highs.
Yeah, there's a very important level for CRV, and it is right here.
Oh, and it's just below it right now.
It's right below, because everywhere in the past, like even back here, 2023, that was like the level of bounce, and then fell below it. That was support here.
And for those in podcast land, for Curve, that is 42.86 cents.
Yeah. So this to me is it could that unless it for some things radically change and it gets back above 42 cents, it just looks as a sad area down here. I don't know what to say. They're all coins suck. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Fisher goes, sorry, I was kidding. Well, too late. Now we're going to take a look at Banker. BNKR. I think it's BNKR.
Coinbase.
Oh God.
Oh. No, we're just going to keep going lower here.
I think it's not doing great.
Yeah. The Coinbase about to get this, and that's like, this is one of these things.
It's going negative.
Yeah, this is going negative.
Don't worry, guys. It's going to go negative, and then you'll owe the market. Oh God, that's Banker.
There was a platform that happened, by the way. Kidding aside, what was it? They got ripped apart for it. Was it It was the liquidation that if you got liquidated, I'll flip this back here. Oh my gosh, what was it? If you use leverage and you got liquidated, there was a chance that if you logged back in and you deposited money that they took some of it because you owed them money. Which I'm like, who made this?
Jesus. What?
Oh my gosh, what was it? Was it Backpack? No, it wasn't Backpack. Anyway, I got to figure it out. But it was your joke came to reality. But didn't make sense. It was not good.
Oh man.
But I think it was resolved.
Oh man, we're not in a good timeline.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up VeChain. So let me share my screen. I'll pull up VeChain and give this a crack for Bearded over here.
Yeah.
VeChain. Let's do it on. We'll do it on global spot markets. Oh well, I had a really good short opportunity here too. It broke this pattern. Let me clean this up. Let's see. What time frame am I on here? I am on. Oh hey, look, my price target for the bearish breakout was down here. It actually went further down. We're on the weekly chart here. Let's pull up our indicators. Very oversold in the weekly charts, stochastic RSI. A lot of bearish momentum. We're almost oversold on the weekly charts, RSI too, which is very rare. The last time we were even near this was 2019. Jesus, my God, my God. Let's see. Where's the super important level? Super important level right here. You probably find support for VeChain. If we go back, there's support that was found that launched us into the bull market in 2020, as well as consolidation, previous tops as well. Back at zero, let's see, what is that? It's not 8 cents. That's 0.00866667. No, that's only 2 sixes. The 3 sixes, guys. Basically 0.009 cents for VeChain is where there's going to be support. I do not see any kind of bullish candle forming here for VeChain in any way, shape, or form. Let's pull up the weekly or the monthly time frame. Monthly chart, we're very oversold in the monthly chart, stochastic RSI, but we are not entirely oversold. Correct. But honestly, we're pretty damn near close to it. VeChain is, I think, like pretty overextended in terms of how far sold it could be. But I do think it goes to that 0.0088, 0.009 cent range. And then you find a potential bounceable territory. Let's see. Let's pull up. Yeah, the daily time frame. Honestly, you might get to it in the next couple of weeks or so because we're not even oversold here. The Moxie indicator is red. Yeah, things look bad for VeChain, and you might find a bottom at that moment that I marked. So that's VeChain for you.
Like a long time ago. Actually, it was last week when I jumped on a space with Alex randomly at night when you guys weren't around. I was really telling a story like VeChain was one of the first projects I came across like way back with HBAR.
Oh yeah, VeChain was one of the coolest projects ever. Honestly, what they do today is still cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I could sell the concept to anyone. Like back then, it's like I could explain supply chain with blockchain is the easiest. One of the easiest use cases, right? It just sucks that we don't appreciate that anymore. Now, one day we will, and not saying VeChain or not, but like that type of utility. The price will one day match value. Again, it's just not in any time near future because no one cares about value in the space anymore.
Nope. You know what? Pablo has been waiting patiently for Arweave. I will pull up the Arweave chart.
I am super happy to see this drop. Why are we sad? I'm not sad. I'm happy. I'm a happy guy in general. Hey, at least we could be all miserable together. So
I'd love to be rich now, but I'll be richer later, so that's fine. I will share my Arweave chart now. So let's zoom out a little bit. Zoom out to the monthly time frame because Arweave has been around for a while. Yeah, I mean this is pretty damn beat up. But the thing is, it's like, here's the thing. If I really zoom in, we hit a bottom like 2 months ago in October. Like that liquidation event really hit like the bottom because we hit a previous point of support that only existed on the second month of Arweave ever being alive in January 2020. It almost hit a low. Wow. Actually, oh my God, it did hit a low. It hit a number we hadn't seen since 2019. Damn, Arweave. But like last month's candle here, all bullish momentum in Arweave got slammed down. There is no bullish momentum showing at all in any way, shape, or form for Arweave right now. If we pull up the weekly time frame, we are starting to see momentum actually creep to the upside. Our Moxie indicator is trying to actually get up and flip bullish, but that might not happen for a few more weeks still. We're not oversold in the weekly chart stochastic RSI. Let's see if we're going up there. What are we at on the daily? Interesting. We had some long signals flash a while ago, but we already got that big move to the upside. When we have our long signals right here, we had this big move up for about a week or so. And the daily chart stochastic RSI is heading to the downside. So honestly, the 12, the 21, and the 55 exponential moving averages held up as resistance, and we probably break past the lows that we see here, unless I can see something on real short-term timeframes. We are oversold. But we're getting a short signal again. A short signal, long signal together. Let's kind of wash each other out. Anyway, long story short is as we look at Arweave on the weekly time frame and the monthly time frame, we don't see any confirmation of a bottom yet. The one thing that's kind of nice to see is that, we found that the bulls were willing to come in and try to fight here. We've also, are trying to find some support in this general zone again. The question is, are bulls going to be too exhausted to pump it at all? The answer is probably yes. But until, what am I looking at? Until this is able to get above the 12-week exponential moving average and kind of turn that into support, you have to expect down. As soon as it can turn that into support, you have the potential possibility for a little bit of a pump. That is currently sitting at $4.43 here for Arweave. But if we were to fall further, well, here's the other thing that's also interesting that's potentially playing into like, hey, maybe if anything pumps, maybe Arweave pumps along with Bitcoin, is that it is sitting directly on support that it held in October to July of 2023, essentially, October to August of 2023. And it is very oversold in the monthly chart stochastic RSI. So if it could get a pump here along with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can get a pump, this is probably one of the ones that pumps.
Actually, I have a chart now I'm thinking about that I want to share. And you know why? It's because the first chart I ever posted on the TradingView community, by the way, because I was, where is the chart that I had here? Oh no, this isn't it. Hold on. Hold the phone. Oh no, this is it. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, this. I know. Bitcoin Cash. Hold on. Let me see here. Share my screen. Present. Make sure I have this going here. So I'm gonna hide this for the moment. Hide Bitcoin Cash and hide my squiggle. Has shown significant strength as of late.
Hate that.
And is super attractive to me only because the other dinos had already done their move. And this candle was the first time like I want to pay attention. And I've been watching this since kind of this falling wedge here, channel, flag, whatever the hell you want to call it. But Bitcoin Cash above here, like above 550-ish. to me is and up here even more attractive. Maybe targeting up here. Now this could absolutely just do this like everything else and then just dump because it's Bitcoin Cash and like who knows things are going to do. But this chart has strength compared to the other alts we've been covering tonight that you don't see things like this. And this is something I'm watching. So for whatever reason, Bitcoin Cash is, I have no idea any narratives. I don't have time to follow narratives. I just look at the charts. And the chart says, hey, pay attention to me. So right now, this is something I'm watching.
All right, we'll do one more and we'll take it from YouTube. U4, we already did Aave actually, so just go backwards and you'll find it. But let's do Uni, Daniel 777 Baker. And honestly, Uniswap is a coin I'm very interested in getting a bag of in the bear market.
Damn it. This move was so nice, and then this sucked, and then this
all these nice moves were just ruined. Soiled it. Soiled it. Soiled it. It's a SpongeBob reference, everybody.
Oh, man.
Although, to be fair, I'm interested in getting Uniswap in the bear market, assuming, of course, their most recent vote goes through, which I imagine it will, which is where they will take the Uniswap tokens that are used in every single auction and burn the supply.
$5. $5 is your level. Like it's your pivot point here. I would bid, below $5, but maybe another sweep, something like this. Take out these lows. But
when was the last time Uniswap was at $4?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, this also could bounce right at $5, just like as it did here, like as it did here in the past. Like this seems like this obviously is a very important level. It's a psychological level of like it's a $5.
What's going to be interesting is I'm of the opinion that you'll have crypto probably hit bottoms first, specifically Bitcoin. You'll have Bitcoin bottom first before the stock market does, as a result of any shakeups with the Bank of Japan, right? It's just a matter of when altcoins do. So for those of you who have never experienced a bear market, Bitcoin always bottoms first. And then as Bitcoin stabilizes and maybe sets some barely higher lows, but it's really consolidating, it's going flat, you still have altcoins continue to slide downwards. And that period of time will last longer than you really want it to. And then it takes time, and then altcoins rip in the span of a month or two. That's just how it always goes.
Oh, see in chat here, when Doug was charting with crayons, hey, I've never charted with crayons, but I actually like that idea.
I would love to.
I think it sounds, hey, print it out. Just gonna do some drawings. Oh, I did draw, and I think I know what he's talking about. I don't have that chart to reference, but I did color with color pencils on a physical piece of paper. And
that's exciting.
It was Ondo. But anyway,
nice.
I digress.
Well, that's about all the time we have here. So, Doug, you have any final thoughts?
I don't. I mean, for me, I'm observing right now. I'm most, for me, being interested in when I want to look to do something, as in I don't call it size, but is looking to short Bitcoin between $96 and $102,000. Until then, I'm working on other things and just keeping in check with the market. But right now, if any trades, short-term scalps, and just assume I wouldn't be buying thinking that we're going to have a bull market back anytime soon. Wouldn't be absolutely surprised if crazy things happen the remainder of this year, early next. No, but there needs to be a lot to happen based on everything we talked about earlier for it to get back to where that momentum and that enthusiasm and conviction that was around crypto is now gone. So it does not mean it's over. It just means it's over for now, and that's it.
Yep. Did get a question here from what was your name over here on TikTok? I think it was New York King. Anyway, Boston's better. But no, the question was, where can I watch this? You can watch this recording over on YouTube. Head to the Rise Up Morning Show on YouTube. Again, that is the Rise Up Morning Show at YouTube. And you'll be able to find all the recordings where every single live that we do lives in perpetuity forever, so long as the YouTube servers are on, which I imagine will be forever, because if those servers go down, boy, oh boy, something real bad's happening. Yeah, I don't know if I have a final thought. Just like what I'm doing, guys, I buy Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum every single day. And if we get a pump upwards, I still have some altcoins that are actually, 2 of them are actually still green. But a couple of them, most of them are in the red. But if we do get a pump upwards for Bitcoin and some of them pop upwards, I'll axe most, if not all of them. And then I personally will just kind of be sitting with mostly stable coins. I still have all my Bitcoin. That doesn't change. And I'll be looking to add to my Bitcoin bag. I'll be looking to add to my Ethereum bag. I am still very much so bullish on crypto. I just expect the prices to go lower. And I know that sucks to hear, but I am still very much so bullish on the space. There are projects I'm still very much so bullish on. I still love what's in this space, and I think that the current price is a distraction from the disruption and change and good, valuable stuff that some things in crypto are actually trying to do and bring to the space. So in the meantime, I will look at cheaper prices as a great opportunity to make myself very, very, very rich in like 2 to 3 years. And also 10 years and 20 years and all that stuff down the line. But the guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch myself, Evan, and Alex live tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, you will catch myself and you will see Doug again next Monday for Market Watch. And Doug, do you have any streams you're going to be doing this week? Any live streams?
I've been trying. I've been trying to do every morning at 7:30 Eastern. That's been my target. I have been. I did 2 last week. So I'm gonna shoot for 2 again this week. So you know what? Tomorrow seems like a good day. Tomorrow I'm gonna attempt. So 7:30 a.m. Eastern. I will attempt to look at charts for 30 minutes leading up to the Rise Up Morning Show.
All right, there it is, everybody. So with that, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. It really does mean a lot to us. Have a good rest of your night. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money.